our liking and our choice for their 2017 campaign. Do you guys want me to have to go first?
Hey, start it off.
Hey, set it off.
Go ahead.
I will go with my home team, the Chicago Bears.
Okay, here we
I
go.
believe that their team slogan should be double your quarterbacks, double the fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
pleasure.
Remember those commercials, speaking of nostalgia and things coming
chewing
back?
gum.
I have low expectations for my Chicago Bears. They have taken my life mantra of undersell and over-deliver, and they've taken that next level, in fact, because I don't have a lot of faith in their season. I don't know what their plan is, but that means they can prove me wrong by doing very little. They can only go up in my eyes. You have Glenn in there. If this is going to be anything, it's going to be entertaining to me, and they could have a successful campaign in 27 as well. You look at adding, look at the back pages, by the way, guys.
Ooh, there he is, the cruise missile.
They add this piece, which I sort of like. I like the reinvigorated Victor Cruz.
I like it, and I like
in
his
Chicago.
post, too.
Me too.
You have Victor Cruz, you have Glenn, and he gets his $45 million. If it's anything, it's entertaining, right, Kyle?
Absolutely.
You have him at the draft, finding out that the Bears trade up
The best.
to take Trubisky. They're trying to say Trubisky's middle or nickname is Tra. He's riding his grandma's car. They're doing all of these things. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because we already have great sound bites early in OTAs saying that, you know, it's Mike Glennon's team. This is your year. Prove it's your year. I'm excited to see what happens. Double your quarterbacks. Double the fun in the Chi.
Yeah, Kate, I think we have uncertainty in Chicago,
which
and
is
uncertainty
great.
can be super fun.
Yeah.
In the past, you know, it's been Cutler and the Cutler experience, and that's his own kind of uncertainty. I don't know how this season's going to go. I got no idea how
But
this
I've
is going
come
to
to
happen.
terms
and I like
with it.
that.
To me, it's, I think, Kyle, you and I both being from Chicago, we're like, what's the plan? What
Yeah.
are you guys doing? But now it's sort of like, I want to see how this works out. This is going to be fun to root for, and I'm rooting for you, Chicago.
And like
I
you
am.
said, they got Victor Cruz. There's some excitement and some uncertainty in Victor Cruz in his career. And what he said, I'll always be a giant. But
Yeah.
for now, bear down.
Nice Photoshop on number 80.
Well,
huh?
it's
Nice
sort of
Photoshop.
interesting. So we
Curtis
were talking
Conway.
about
Yeah.
who, you know, the veteran in that locker room. I think it came up on the show at some point.
point.
Who's
Yeah.
the veteran in Chicago?
Yes.
They sort of turned the page, and it's a bunch of young cats, and now it's Victor Cruz.
Okay. All right, cool. It's on me.
What's your
I'll
slogan?
take it. My slogan, my 2017 slogan for the Seattle Seahawks, my former team, is can't stop the rain. And I'm not talking about the rain that falls from the sky. No, this isn't a precipitation joke. We're actually talking about the rain as in dynasty.
Yes.
You remember at
Sucker for
one point
precipitation joke.
we were saying that Seattle was going to be the next big dynasty in all of football. And I don't want to be dismissive of what they did, but we're saying they could do something like the New England Patriots. So for me, it's you can't stop the rain. Let me remind you about this 5-year run they had. 5 straight playoff appearances. 4 number one defenses. We had two Super Bowl appearances and, of course, the Super Bowl title. They could have went back-to-back if they were just handed the ball up to Marshawn. We don't want to belabor that point, but it's all about getting this team to understand that at one point they were just as dominant as anybody else. We were talking about Seattle like we were talking about the Patriots. So I want Seattle to get back to where they were. And all the guys that were banged up, starting with their quarterback, Russell Wilson, who had the ankle in the MCL, Richard Sherman, who had the MCL all season, and then Earl Thomas back on the back end, the umbrella of that defense, and Tyler Lockett, who got injured late in the season. All these pieces are coming together, and then you add in the draft picks. Then you add in the free agencies. This is going to be a big year for Seattle. So Seattle Seahawks, I hope you guys are up. I know it's early on the West Coast, but remind yourself, you can't stop the rain.
Okay.
Let's get
Rain
I
Man,
like this.
Sean
You got me-
Campiner.
You got me
Come on.
fired up,
Yes.
but let me challenge you.
Let's go.
Because this offseason, Richard Sherman was dangled, right, a little bit. There was an article by Seth Wickersham on ESPN yesterday that made a lot of news that Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman had a little stuff going on.
Yeah.
There's Michael Bennett's been talking out a bit. Then you also have, of course, Marshawn Lynch saying, I'd rather retire and take a year off than be back with the Seahawks and decide, please, just let me out and let me go to Oakland. Nate, there's a lot of smoke out there. Is there fire?
Sounds like a if it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of smoke out there, but controversy is good, especially when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks. It's been a minute since we've had them in our conversation. And when it comes to Richard Sherman being on the trading blocks, that's good for Richard. It's good for the league. Sometimes you don't have to have the perfect relationship with the organization. I've seen players have their best years when the conversation of them being traded has started. And when it comes to Russell Wilson, he might not be everybody's cup of tea, but he's the right cup of tea for Seattle. He has been absolutely fantastic on and off the field. This is the year, and I'll say this, with the age that they are on offense and defense, the time is now. We can't wait a couple years. Guys are getting older. Cam Chancellor's getting older. Richard Sherman is getting older. My guy Cliff Averill, he's at the tail end of being at the height of his career. He has one more contract to get. Michael Bennett, one more contract to get. So if you want to win Seattle, you guys have to win right now.
Can't stop the rain.
Can't stop the rain.
What's-
Shout out to Notorious Big and Missy Elliott.
We want
I
to hear your
blame it on the
slogans too. Hashtag GMFB. Pick your favorite team. Give us the slogan for 2017. Peter, you're up.
Not my cup of tea. You should say a cup of coffee. Jordan Schultz, what's up?
Hey,
My slogan for the Baltimore Ravens this year would be back to the beginning. And that's where they've got to go. Back to the beginning, and that's what they're doing. I look back at the Ravens since they became a big franchise in this league. They come in about the late 90s, kind of finding themselves. They've got Jim Harbaugh at quarterback, Vinny Testaverde at quarterback, and then they just say, let's go all in on defense. They draft Ray Lewis. They draft Ed Reed. They draft Peter Boulware.
Yep.
They draft all of these guys. They bring in players like Sarah Gusa. They draft Terrell Suggs. But the last few years, since that Super Bowl victory, they made it a couple times to the playoffs, but they've missed the past two. And I look at the Ravens, and I think they might have gotten away from what they are. What they are is their roots, and they're going back to the beginning. I'm looking at these classic highlights right now. This is Super Bowl highlights. This is Ray Lewis breaking through tackles. That's Donnell Ellerbe making plays. That is a team that was built on defense. And this year, for 2017, what they do in free agency? They went and got Brandon Carr from the Dallas Cowboys. Went and got our guy Tony Jefferson, who said he believes this defense can be legendary. And then in the draft, they went and they loaded up 4 of their first 4 picks were on the defensive side of the ball. And I'll say this, the biggest thing they did was they brought back Brandon Williams. He's a friend of the show. He does the dances on the show.
Yeah.
He was on the free agency block. Teams were vying for him, and they said, you know what? We're going to pay for one of our own. We're not going to let him walk out of the building. He is the building block. Big Brandon. I love what the Ravens did this offseason. They went back to the beginning because, look, I know Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Mike McCrary and Tony Siragusa are not walking through that locker room again. But when you've got a Marlon Humphrey, right? When you've got a Tim Williams, when you've got a Brandon Williams, a young buck who wants to play, maybe you have just a little bit of something that you used to be. They're going back to their roots, Baltimore Ravens, back to the beginning. Forget the 500 yards of passing. That's not Ravens football. It's winning 9-6 on a rainy day in Pittsburgh, and that's what this defense can do. I'm all in on the Ravens. Back to the beginning.
What's wild is that they were number 7, I think. They were a top 10 total defense before making all these offseason additions. That was what they were last year. So now they are loaded, getting back to the roots. I'm also really interested in our fantasy football draft for this year, where last year you took 3 defenses.
In my
and
first
you
3
keep
picks.
talking up these Ravens. You're taking them number 1 overall, I feel like.
I might say the Ravens. It might be an early prediction. I think the Ravens might have the number 1 defense in the league this year.
They might have or they will, Peter.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
They might have it. Come on. It might be among the top 5.
It's May. I'm going to wait on
May.
it.
It's all right.
Saving the best for last. Kyle
That's it.
Brent,
All right.
take it away.
So I'm going to tell a little story here. I love motivational slogans when it comes to football coaches. I love it. I get off on this stuff. Back when I was a sophomore in college, we built a new stadium in Princeton, brand new stadium that we were opening. And before the season started, they took us out onto the practice field right next to the stadium. They said, guys, we got a surprise for you. We're going to motivate you with this. We got new helmets, new helmet design, new logos. And there they are. So they built up all this stuff, and they're going to sell us. It's the greatest thing ever. They pull out the helmet, and we're like, that's the Michigan helmet. What do you mean? It's not
a different color.
They're like, no. And they tell the story about how the equipment manager at Princeton eventually went to Michigan and brought that with him and made it famous there. A complete letdown, because we thought it was going to be all blacks or a tiger claw or something really cool. We walked away, we're wearing the Michigan helmet. This is lame. So you have to be careful with these motivational things because they can misfire. The Bucks. Tampa Bay Bucks have misfired with slogans, too. Remember when Raheem Morris was there?
Yeah.
He had a thing where he said, we're young and we're hungry. We're youngry. That was their slogan for real. The biggest eye roller. It never worked. He didn't work out. So even they have had problems, even with that own team. That's why you got to stick with the classics. I love you got some strength coach in there playing the classics. Don't be afraid to be legendary, gentlemen. Don't be afraid. Or why not us? Why not now? I love that stuff. That's high school football. That's college football. That's pro football. So that's why my slogan for the Tampa Bay Bucks is, don't wait to be great.
Ooh.
Don't wait to be great, gentlemen.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you what that means. Yes, we're young. Yes, we have not been to the playoffs. But why not us? Why not now? Let's not wait. We have beaten Matt Ryan. We have beaten Russell Wilson. We have beaten Cam Newton. We beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Why should we wait? Jameis Winston's 23 years old. Ben Roethlisberger was 23 years old when he won the Super Bowl, and he needed an Antoine Randall pass and terrible officiating. There is Jameis.
What's with the font?
You know, every time I click on one of these young trending topics, they're all doing uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. It's some sort of weird hieroglyphics they do.
I thought I was on the Da Vinci Code. I was Tom Hanks trying to decipher what you were doing, what message.
It's like
you
a
were trying to
ransom
send
letter.
me.
It is. You cut them out, right? You paste them together.
Magazines.
I don't know why they do it.
Movie?
I'm just trying to talk to the kids. I don't understand that. And they do have kids here, so that's my slogan. That's my weight room guy. Let's not have a couple years, a warm-up year, a wild card year. Let's win it now. We have the talent. And by the way, we're on Hard Knocks. Let's rock the Knocks. Let's be the greatest Hard Knocks season ever.
All right,
Let's bring the house down. I got these long days, Nate. I'm going to start breaking through here. Trust me.
Okay, well, they haven't been to the playoffs since 2007. Do they make it there?
Yes. Yeah, listen.
Can't wait to be great.
Hey, Peter, they might make it there. They might have a shot at the playoffs.
It's early, kids.
They're
Great
arguably one of the
slogans.
best teams in the NFC South.
Yeah, there are still
Arguably.
some slogans on the drawing room floor. Let's take a look at the ones that didn't make the cut. Kyle, break these down for us. And this is a great
What do we
job.
got?
Great job by our guys Steve,
Vikings?
Garrett, Matt Ford. Everybody sort of sat around and threw these ideas.
That Vikings emoji is kind of like.
I love that one because we don't know what we're getting from Vikings here. I don't know. You know, and then the Redskins one is pretty much the same thing. Cousins Pryor, right?
I mean, it's for next year because we're both on one-year deals. So it's
And
like,
then,
are you
right,
back?
Dolphins, we
Who
get into
did
some
this?
tricky wordplay.
Can you
A J
imagine
of the
if
Dolphins.
there's something about Mariota is actually this team slogan? Can you imagine how that would actually go over?
I don't like how it goes over, Kate, because they're
No,
saying
of
there's something
course.
about Mariota,
Yes.
and we've said
Hey,
it's
what do you think
Mariota.
of the Bills one? Playoffs!
Soon! It should be soon with a question mark.
Maybe.
Those are all right. Those we did not name. There you go.